Hello everybody, and welcome to the start of my Minecraft World Log series. Now this series will be a little different than a normal Let's Play as it is structured around my limited time to record videos. As you can see, we already have plenty of stuff already constructed in this world. I'm currently underground and I better watch them. That creeper there. Hey, he's walking away. I'm probably safe to turn my back in F5. So for this series, the first 15 minutes or so of the episode will be a world tour. There is our world right there. And the next 25 or so minutes will be a more Let's Play styled project. So, like I said, the first 15 or so minutes of this episode will be a world tour. It'll be a little shorter because, of course, this is the first episode. But let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as you can see, we're underground. And that's because for the first long while of this series, we will not be touching the surface. Once the wild update comes out and I can go and explore my world, I'm saving a large portion of my world for when the wild comes out because I don't want to accidentally have my area without the deep dark because this series was originally planned with the deep dark in mind. So for now we're going to be sticking to basically the area on these three maps. And I'm going to get inside because there's a creeper up there. But if I go ahead and head over to my other tab. Alright, as you can see, this is the area that was on the map. That was the river going by, and that was, we're about right here, and here's where spawn is. So I went down about here and went in to about where our base is, just because this was the biggest cave around. Well, that I could immediately find. You'll see that that's not exactly the case in a minute. But this entire series will take place on this giant continent landmass here. We will venture out to the other mini islands like these, and of course the Mushroom Island. I don't actually know where the end is as well. I think it's... I'm pretty certain it's somewhere on this island just because of how big it is and how much of a portion of this part of the world it takes up. So I would guess that we'd have like an end somewhere around here, and somewhere around here. But like I said, we're going to be sticking to the island unless certain things like new content from another update would come into place. And of course, this island is 3,000 by 4,000, which means we will have an absolute ton of area to fill in that will most certainly at least take me 10 years, which is the time frame I'm planning for this series. If it goes over, that'd be cool, but I'm only going to dedicate myself to 10 years at least. As you can see, we also have different biomes here. Like I said, we're going to be reserving parts of the island for the wild update, hence why I'm trying to sequester myself to this little area here. Because of course, if we wait to the wild update, then we get all the new content in this area. And if I turn on the cave mapping here, as you can see, there's plenty of space towards this area of the island and this area that could potentially have space for the deep dark. I don't know how the generation is going to come in. Maybe it's only Y levels below. It's only the negative Y levels that would have the deep dark, which means they might overlap biomes, but it could not. So that's why I'm trying to stick to this tiny section of the island and only load it. But anyway, let's go ahead and stop looking at this seed map here and look at the world itself. So as you can see, we're in my tiny nook of a starter base. We have kind of terrible storage set up here. Minimal sorting. And I did get some carrots from a zombie that happened to drop them. And as for crops, I brought from the surface because I did spend my first day collecting items from the surface. I got some sugarcane as well as getting some trees. You can only see the birch here. So I got some oak, then I got some birch, and I believe I took it down. But I also got some acacia trees. After that, I got some, we can see it here, some kelp. as well as some grass to get seeds for wheat. I do believe I still have a little bit of it in here. Yep, got some wheat seeds. And that is everything I took, and then I made a dash to the starter area, the true starter area of this series. So if we go up these stairs here, it's just a little tunnel this way. Let's see if I can remember it. Speed travel. Yo, he's got some leather. Oh snap, I forgot my armor. Okay. He's got 2 leather. Where'd you get that? Alright. Oh, I better be careful. There's mobs about. Anyway, speed travel. Over here we have the true starter area of the season, or of the series. And we just have my first crafting table and furnace, as well as a very rudimentary tree farm right here. It's just a tree underground. And we travel back. Oh yeah, some of the original wheat as well. Alright, moving on, we can go ahead and look at the villager situation here, because I was lucky enough to have a couple zombie villagers spawn. Well, one was in the groove, and one was off in some obscure cave. I don't even remember which direction. I think it was off in that direction. And getting it back was an absolute pain, but I did it because I needed villagers real badly. So to cure these villagers, because I don't have any sand from the surface, one thing I will point out with this setup of never going to the surface after that first day is a ton of very useful resources are very scarce. So a lot of it's going to rely on villager trading to get like glass. I can't just mine out some sand and make some glass. I also can't make TNT, which makes a lot of stuff really difficult. Plus, no animals. Not a single animal did I bring down. Actually, I think I trapped a chicken somewhere because it was a chicken jockey. But other than that, there are no animals to be seen anywhere. So anyway, I was able to utilize piglin bartering to get some potion bottles, and then I used some just the normal ingredients to make weakness potions, and I got some apples from the oak trees that I luckily was able to bring down. If I spawned in a jungle, that would have been no villagers for half a year at least. So luckily we have villagers. I got a librarian for the glass trade. I have a cartographer for the glass pane trade, so I'm able to farm emeralds that way, and that's my main XP source. And then finally we have a farmer for food, and I'm going to grab some food because I have plenty of emeralds to go around for now. There we go. Now onto the outside, or at least the inside, the outside of the inside. There we go, because yeah, no surface for me. I have not used my bed yet because there are no phantoms and no need to. There's also no nighttime mob spawning because well, there's no night, there's no day, there's no afternoon here either. We only have one time, and that is torch time. Anyway, as you can see, I've grassified this entire area to bring at least a little bit of the surface with me, make it feel like I'm more outside than inside. And we just have mainly just grassy areas now. I don't really have any builds here just yet. I've spent most of my time trying to terrain the area and get this river flowing through. And we got a river going all the way from that waterfall, snaking back and forth into and out of some caves, down a waterfall, and into a little lake here. I might as well just skip my path there, I guess. Over here, this is still a work in progress area, but we do have a barrel collecting some kelp, which is my main fuel source. So we got this kelp farm here, and I did something a little fancy with the redstone, where every other piston will fire when it triggers, and then it'll wait and fire every other piston that hadn't been, or it'll fire the other pistons that hadn't been fired, and that allows for the water sources above the kelp to stay in place. So if we go ahead and head back here. Oh hey, there's some lapis here. Cool. There's now just going to be a hole in here. Well, I'll steal some blocks. We'll fix it. And that was just achieved by running a staggered repeater redstone setup like this into the pistons. Alright. And, oh yeah, I can just put the blocks there like that, and then it's all good. And then off on this bridge this way, we don't really have anything. It's just more caves, but this way does go north. And actually, I might as well show off what goes on at the end of this area, because this is going to be the next place I expand into. But if we head down this cave with some speed, we come to this giant aquifer. Actually, I better look up what aquifer means. Okay, Google says this is not an aquifer. Aquifer is water permeating rocks. This is an underground lake. And this underground lake, luckily, right underneath it, has this absolutely giant area. Let's see if I can go down here. I think this is the way. But this absolutely massive cavern is probably going to be my mimic of a lush cave biome. I don't exactly have any moss, so this is all going to be pre 1.16? 17? Pre 1.17 lushifying of a cave. And I might come back in the future to do this up a little bit more. But this area is going to become my main green space of the, or main like crop area of the world, or of at least the first part of this series. Now if we head back, which is in a direction this way, I will see you at the other direction we can go. Oh, and by the way, the reason we're heading north is to put the storage system up towards the center of the island, if I haven't said that already. So that's why we're trying to slowly expand in that direction and follow the caves wherever they may go. And now to the final area of our colonized space, we have what I like to call the Chasm. Here's the little entrance area here, and this is the grand view of the area. This place is just absolutely huge. It's about 110 blocks tall from floor to ceiling, which is just incredibly impressive. Did I just look at that, Enderman? No, I should be okay. So let's go ahead and take the drop down all the way to the bottom. Here's where I have my Nether Portal. I did not have diamonds when I made this, so that was a fun little project to do. But there's nothing of note in the Nether right now. Just some flat area, no builds. Just a quick tunnel over to the Nether Fortress, and that was it. But here, I mean, this is just impressive. I'm sure you've already heard it plenty of times before, but the generation in 1.18 is absolutely phenomenal. Mojang did an amazing job on this. I did have a clip of my initial reaction to finding this area, but unfortunately it was at 1 frame per second. So you'll have to take my current impressions of it now, but still, absolutely amazing. And absolutely huge too. We'll go off this way first, and over here, if I use speed travel, we have two things. First of all is my spider farm. I found a spider spawner off in this cave. So I just have this quick and dirty setup here. Let's grab some torches so you can see. Pretty simple, just a water stream filtering down to one point. And then down here we have the killing area. Just a iron bar to distance ourselves from the spiders. We'll come into this area here, climb up the wall, or be pushed up the wall by the next spiders, and then this water pushes them all to that corner. And that just makes killing them a little bit easier. And this is where I get all my string and all of my wool. Of course, I also get a couple spider jockeys in here as well, so I get some bone farming as well. But I definitely need to find a skeleton spawner or set something else up for bone meal. And so this was my main XP source before I got the villagers. And boy is it slow because I use an axe. Also, I've decided to get rid of the sword and bow and a couple other things from my inventory. Oh, hey, we got a skeleton jockey in here somewhere. But that allows me to compact my whole inventory into this 3x3 area, and hopefully that should help with inventory management in this series. And then just up over here is my current amethyst geode, where I farm the amethysts as well as my enchanting station. Oh hey, that was... I didn't intend this, but hey, that works as a slab to get up. I might want to trick this area out then. But this is my enchanting station. Luckily, like I said, I was able to get leather from... Oh, I didn't say. I'm able to get leather from hoglins in the Nether, and then of course I brought some sugarcane down to farm, and that allows me to get these bookshelves. And then if I had not brought down the sugarcane, I could have done an incredibly long-winded process of piglin bartering for the soul speed enchantment books, disenchanted them on the grindstone? Yeah, grindstone. And that would have been my only way to get books and turn into bookshelves. So that would have been an absolute pain if I didn't just happen to spawn near some sugarcane. But that's all that is here for this area of the... I'm going to call this area the Chasm. And up that staircase is nothing of note yet, but there's a decent space to walk around up there, as well as decently large space to walk around up there as well. So plenty of space to build down here in the Chasm. And now we can speed walk over to the other side of the Chasm. And head up these stairs all the way to... I'm gonna make it a slow reveal. We'll go up this way since it's quicker. The villager area. So this is my dedicated village area. Looks like the iron golem finally made his way down. He was stuck up on that roof because he didn't want to leave, but I guess his zombie tempted him down. And this is where all of my excess villagers go to, and all of the villagers end up dropping in somewhere around here. Here we go. You can see there's some water dropping down. So they drop down right here into this cave, and that is because, if you didn't already notice it back there, we have some trapdoors and some beds and some more trapdoors. Let's see if I can get a good look inside here. That's probably far enough. Yeah. These three villagers actually function as a breeder because these trapdoors don't allow them to walk back towards these beds. So those are their beds. They've already been assigned those next to the workstations, just how I've built this area up. So I built that area first, and then I built this area, and that way they were already linked to over there, and I didn't have to worry about things. But when they breed, after I throw just a butt ton of carrots at them, the child villagers will try and find a bed to sleep in when nighttime comes around, because they actually have an idea when that is. I still don't. The child villagers will come to sleep in the beds here, and instead they'll fall down into there. Oh. Maybe they can fit through that gap. I mean, villagers are still going over that way, so I guess they fit. Okay, well that fence gate was supposed to be open, so they can just fall through. I didn't realize they could fit. Okay. Anyway, the villagers will fall through that gap, and that'll lead them somewhere into that cave down in the, what I call it, the Chasm. And that way, the villagers, there's only 3 villagers left here because the other one is so many blocks away. they can keep breeding more up here and send more villagers down there. And I basically have an infinite loop, minus automatically feeding these villagers. And that is the entire world so far. That may not have been 15 minutes. And now onto the main project part of the episode. As you can see, by the magic of editing, I've already cleared out this space here. And let's head inside for a second, because I want to drop a little bit of truth on you. Well, some people were going crazy over renewable dirt in the last Minecon Live. Renewable dirt is actually something that's already in the game here. We don't have to wait for mud for it to happen, because you can right-click coarse dirt and turn it into regular dirt. And bada bing, bada boom, we have dirt. It's super exciting. It is exciting because down here, dirt is a scarce resource. You don't have it everywhere, and if you want to put grass on the floor, well, you're kind of out of luck unless you have a way to renew your dirt. And of course, coarse dirt is renewable now, because as long as you have 2 pieces of dirt, you can get infinite gravel from piglin bartering, so you don't have to worry about that. And then the crafting recipe for coarse dirt is, if I find some gravel here, here we go. 2 dirt, 2 gravel becomes 4 coarse dirt, not cursed dirt. And of course, if that this all can transform into regular dirt, which means you're effectively turning the 2 gravel into regular dirt, and you can repeat this to turn infinite gravel into infinite dirt. So now, all you need to do is set up a station to make converting it a little bit easier, and that is what I have ready to build here. So for starters, we get a chest, we get a hopper. I absolutely have not tested out this design, so if it doesn't work first time, it will work first time because I'm a redstone genius. Yeah. But what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to detect items going into the hopper, specifically dirt, but that's the only thing that's going to be going into the hopper, so we don't need to worry about that. Then this comparator will then trigger an observer. Let's get a little light back here. Or the comparator will trigger a piston, which then pushes an observer up to a crafting table. The crafting table here is because it is one of the slower blocks to break if you average the mining speed of all of the tools. So if I'm using a pickaxe to destroy something here, it's pretty slow with a pickaxe. It's actually not that slow with an axe. So that's maybe an oversight, but I don't have any reason to mass convert logs, at least not yet. But in that case, I might want to put obsidian there again, or instead. But with a pickaxe and a hoe, it's pretty slow to break a crafting table. So that's why I use these, or crafting tables in these sorts of devices. Anyway, on top of that crafting table, we want a dispenser. And next to that dispenser, we got a hopper with another chest. So that'll be our item input. This will be our item output. And if everything went right, which it definitely did, I can just hold right click and left click. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the fact that I need to put items into the dispenser. That's an important part. I am a skeleton. All right, so now let's try this again. Okay, so maybe I need 3 items in my offhand, because I'll place one and break it, so that one's permanently out of my inventory. And then for a split second, I'll be out of items if I only have 2, so I need a 3rd one for a buffer. And now I'm infinitely, or at least until I run out of coarse dirt, converting dirt. Or I guess until my hoe runs out as well. That hoe is about to die. There it goes. But now, other than that one accidental placement, we have converted 27 dirt. Let's get our coarse dirt in there for later. Let's make it 28 dirt. Wow. Absolutely amazing. We have a dirt converter, and guess what? Have any of my saplings yielded a beehive? Have any of my saplings yielded a beehive? That's a solid no. Okay, well, I was going to smoothly transition right into building the tree farm in that area right there, but we don't have honey, and we need honey for that tree farm. So it's going to be another week until we get to the next clip. Today is January 1st, by the way. But the next clip it's going to be a while. Alright, we're quite a bit later now, and I now have potatoes. But in terms of the tree farming project, I realized we're missing quite a few materials needed for a tree farm. As it stands, this is my current bone meal farm right here. I'll take some carrots or some potatoes nowadays, and just put them in this hopper and get bone meal out of it. But obviously that is not going to be enough to sustain a tree farm, especially seeing as I don't even have a skeleton spawner. The best I have is a spider spawner off in the Chasm. So instead, what I've opted to do is head south, because in the south there is an area that should have some lush caves. So it's I made another map here, and in the next block down, as far as the map is concerned, there would be a lush cave area right around here on the island. Otherwise I'd have to go probably about right up there, and I don't currently want to explore in that direction just yet, just because I actually don't have a reason to do that. This one was just closer, and it was a lot bigger, and it was in the ocean, which means I don't load too much of the land mass. So what I've done, may not have been entirely smart, is I've dug around about, I can't remember if it was 300 or 400 block, I think it's 400 block tunnel. Oh, hello. Through the deep slate, and I hit a pretty big cave at the end there, so I stopped there, but it was pretty close to where I needed to go, so I figured we might as well explore it together. There we go. And of course, the reason this was maybe a little less wise of a place to build the tunnel is because it was through the deep slate instead of the much quicker to mine stone, which means this took quite a bit longer, although I did need cobbled deep slate for building, so in the end it worked out. And here we are at the end of the tunnel. As you can see, we're maybe loading new chunks. Did I put my oh no, I'm still down at 9 chunks for the caves. But here we are. Yo, boy. It is a very dangerous... Oh, what? There's 2 of them. What? Okay. That's one of them down. There we go. Let's get some food on my hotbar. Better yet, let's get my torches in my hotbar as well. And what we need to do is go down in that direction. It looks pretty far. So let's just start making a run for it. Oh boy, this is all of the danger. And I'm getting some interestingly large frame drops as well. Whoa! Is this an end? It looks like it continues under here. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Let's not get stuck and then get creepered from behind. Is that? No, that's not dripstone. Whoa! Alright, let's eat up a little bit. and make our way. Seems. Oh wait, is that the glowberries? We might be in the right area. Let's make sure there's no creepers. Oh, coming from behind me. Let's get into a relatively safer position. Maybe put a torch up there. Oh, that's where they're coming from. Let's see. Position is... I was thinking it'd be around 380, but that is glowberries. Oh, and that is 3 creepers. Okay, let's keep going towards our destination then. We got a shovel man. Oh, and there's one of those, it's not a lilac, it's called something. Spore blossom, I think. So I don't know what the proper tool for that is, so I brought some shears for all of this stuff. Now I know you can just harvest that by right-clicking on it. Let's jump down and grab that. We only need 1. And we only really need 1 piece of moss as well. So we can just grab that and get out of here. But also let's grab the spore blossom. Shears? Shears work. Okay. Cool. And for now, we're going to ignore the rest of this area and head back to our home base at the Groove. And of course, this moss will help us make a bone meal farm, because all you need to do is make a stone generator and just convert the moss at such a rate, I'm dying, that the bone meal it takes to convert the moss is less than the bone meal the moss itself can create. So we just need to make a fairly efficient farm, and we'll have plenty of bone meal. Plus this will help me decorate the area to the north of us that was going to be my lush space. Let's get a little more lighting in here as we head back, just so that it's a little bit less dangerous. Man, this is a big cave. This would make a good elytra tunnel, depending on how long it is. Anyway, back to the safety of our own caves. Alright, so let's get things started for figuring out how to do this moss farm. First of all, we have to figure out what kinds of stone moss can spread into. So the 3 types of stone we can generate are regular stone, basalt, and cobblestone. Basalt and cobblestone are the easiest blocks to generate, and stone, unfortunately, is a little inconsistent with how you can load it in. One thing that Bedrock does have to hold over Java Edition is the fact that you can waterlog pistons now, and that way you can improve the consistency of stone generators so that they don't break and turn into cobblestone generators or destroy your lava source or what have you. So let's go ahead and get our moss block in and just put these blocks around and see what the moss spreads to. Now unfortunately the only times I've seen people build moss farms is with regular stone, which means that we may be out of luck here. And it seems that I was right. Unfortunately, it looks like moss does not spread to cobblestone or basalt, which means we do in fact have to build a stone generator that is failure-proofed enough that we're safe to leave it operating for a long time, or for extended periods of time, rather. So let's go ahead and grab up all this moss here. And honestly, I think the best place to put our moss farm will be down into that green space. So let's go ahead and head back to the Groove so we can get over into there. And actually I might as well show this path right here. There's a little crack in the wall here next to where the abandoned mine shaft is, and that's where that area is. That's probably where I'm going to have some more experimental farms set up, just because it's a much more ugly area. And of course the secondary, oh, there's my food, benefit to getting the moss is that we can grow these azalea trees, and we don't have to manually place saplings. We can just have them grow automatically when we bone meal moss. Also, we have this automatic fuel system here. As you can see, we're getting some kelp in, and that makes our fuel here that I can then just convert and slap back inside. And once this fills up, we can, as you can see, it's a little less than finished. But once this fills up, we can just take the kelp out of this and use it to fuel our other stations. And of course, once this whole system backs up, it'll just keep going back. What was I going to say? Once this furnace fills up, it'll start overflowing into the next furnaces. And that keeps our fuel a little more efficient in usage. Anyway, let's head over to... I gotta come up with a name for this area. I don't want to call it the Lush Cave because that's just a biome. But I'll figure something out. Maybe the Under the Sea Green Space? That's a long name. We'll figure something out. But for now, let's go ahead and pick out a spot for our moss farm. I want to say something over in this direction because we have like a little area here. If this is a dead end, yeah, this is just a dead end. So what we might do is we'll either place it in this cave, or I'm thinking maybe under the ground here and have like a viewing window. Potentially. Just because it's not something I want to have in the open air, because it's definitely a box-shaped type farm. And it's not something you need to interact with yourself because it runs automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out some redstone in my redstone testing world, and I will be right back. Alright, here we are in the redstone testing world, and as you can see, I've got this one wide design here, which means it should be completely tileable. And the benefit with this design is that it relies on a double piston extender up top, which means that no cobblestone will move into the lava, which is above. And because this piston breaks the flow of the lava will never overflow into the space where the stone forms, which means it won't convert into cobblestone, breaking the farm, or the generator. Now this does require a double input, which is fine by me. And as you can see, it's backed up here with this obsidian. I can of course remove the obsidian and we can see it. Hopefully this should just return back to normal operation. There we go. So now this space is empty, ready to receive more stone. And so if I just give it the right input, as you can see, the water does flow out over the sides, but that doesn't really bother anything. And of course, the stone is now going farther away. And there we go. This should be a 100% reliable stone generator. I might as well do a mini tutorial extra video after this and put it out on the channel. But yeah, this is what I'll be using as my stone generator. And we should, if I remember the moss generation mechanics, here we go. Get some bone meal. You can have the moss 1 block above, or 2 blocks above the stone you want to convert. And if I just click it here, funnily enough, it didn't convert the one right below it, but it did convert the ones right there. Oh, it's got grass on top. Why is it not converting the one directly below it? That's kind of strange. Huh. There's not like a phantom block here, right? Whoops. Huh. If I destroyed that block, it'll convert with that one. That is interesting. Maybe I need two different moss sources. So there'll be one on the right range to convert the other. So if I have 3 blocks like this, if I bone meal this one, eventually it should convert that one. What? Oh, that is... They must have changed something. I have no clue why this isn't converting. Huh. Well, I guess I have more testing to do. Let's see what happens when I put it below. Does it spread upwards? It does spread upwards. Okay, that might be what I have to do then. And let's see how big of a range does that spread out to. Whoops. It does spread out to there. Yep, spreads all the way out here, which is about how wide I'm going to make the farm anyway. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 in the middle, so that's going to be a 7 by 7. Now some farms I've seen, or some moss farms I've seen, have stone generators on every single side of the square that gets converted for maximum efficiency. But as long as I'm getting 100% conversion of the stone, it doesn't actually matter how fast I convert it if I'm not going for sheer numbers. As long as I get enough moss to feed into the farm, I'll be able to replenish the supply of bone meal that goes into growing the moss, as well as the supply of bone meal that's going to go to my other farms. And just one final test here. Let's make sure that this stone will convert. That's not promising. That would be an issue. Alright. I guess we'll just have 1 block of stone in the center that never gets converted. Well, actually, maybe I have the farm trigger... Well, no, I can have it trigger 7 times because if it gets blocked up, we don't have any problems. It just continues on as normal. So, we're good. Alright, you can see just behind me the farm is now up and running. And I just constructed all of it off camera since it's all really quite simple once you get past that unbreakable stone generator. This so far has not broken, and at this point I think it's safe to say that it is completely unbreakable. It's just twice as slow, or it takes twice as long to run as most common stone generators that do have the ability to break. So we can go ahead and head to the bottom here, because this is where all the bone meal is currently getting collected. And we can head on into the redstone for a better look. Well, first of all, we'll go ahead and look at it just from the window here. So as you can see, we have the stone generator in the back from the last clip, and that just continuously pushes forward the stone into the moss. If stone is pushed, or any block is pushed into moss, the moss will break, and because its spot is filled with stone once it gets pushed away, it'll then get pushed up. Now, something I do need hoppers to fix, or more hoppers to fix, is that if it's a moss block on the very edge here, there's a small chance that the moss will pop through this gap, since hoppers are no longer full blocks. And of course, right there you can see we have the moss that is the source of all of the moss that grows below, and I was able to luck out with how the components, the update order of the how do I say that? I got really lucky with how the update order worked out for this redstone device. So if I power everything from the top there, the piston will break anything that's on top of that moss before the dispenser grows anything on the moss, because if there's something on top of the moss, it won't grow. But the way it updates is that the moss doesn't recognize that the piston arm is on top of it by the time it grows. So even though the piston is currently breaking the block above the moss, it is able to grow the moss down anyway. And as you can see, we've got it running here. I made it so that the left will wash to the right and the right will wash to the left, just so that we have a more uniform distribution. Is that the right word? It's symmetrical, basically. It's not all washing to the right and it's not all washing to the left. If I activated both of them, it'd wash to the center, and then I'd have to get a hopper minecart to do that. Or I could just make it like this, which I think it has an interesting aesthetic. As you can see right there, we've got grass on top, but the piston breaks the grass before the moss tries to grow, so everything grows down. Alright, so let's go ahead and head into the redstone here for a closer look. We'll skip all of this timing circuit for now, and we'll go back here. This is just the back side of that stone generator. And to give that double pulse, I have an observer detecting a note block getting triggered, going into a repeater at 4 ticks. For the time between it getting powered and depowering is enough to give 2 ticks at the right interval for this circuit here, or for the double piston extender. Then for timing, we just have a repeater loop going on here, and this is all activated by this observer here. So the observer will trigger the loop, and then each cycle of the loop will trigger this hopper dropper chain, and somewhere in here there is a spectral arrow, and that's just my placeholder block, so I know it's not going to be stone. And every time that spectral arrow gets into this dropper, it'll get detected here, and then go on up to the top into this line here, and that will come down onto this observer, triggering the moss growth below. And then it'll also give a pulse to this piston here, which will either pulse, have this observer pulse this block, activating this side of the water dropping, or it'll pulse this block, as it did just now, activating this side. And of course these repeaters are set to 4 ticks each, because that is just how long the trapdoors need to stay open to have a good amount of water flow through. If it's any shorter, the water will get cut off at the source before it gets a chance to flow. And like I said, it all just flows down into here, and currently I am manually going into the farm and moving the bone meal up to this top chest. And because I have only one line of stone generators, or one side of this farm has a stone generator line, it is rather quite slow, but that's okay for what I'm trying to do with this sort of base I'm going on in these caves here, because for the start of the world, until the wild update comes out and I can explore, what I want to do is make slightly less efficient farms, sufficient for my needs, but less efficient that I will never need to build another one later in the world. Because of course this series is meant to go on for at least 10 years, which means that I'll want to build multiples of each farm, preferably closer to wherever I'm building. Speaking of later in the series, we do have this lever here, which is a secret tool that'll help us in about a year. Probably longer, since that's going to be a very big project. But nevertheless, this is here for when we get to it. The deep slate there is a bit of a hint for what the project is going to be. But for now, that's going to do it for the first episode of this world log. So, I will see you in the next one. Bye.